Then he saw it. Something small, so easy to miss, right there on the windowsill. A faint mark, like a shoe print. It wasn't mud or dirt, just a slight smudge left by rubber. Someone had stepped there. Someone had climbed in or out. Outside, Emily's mother sat on the curb, wrapped in a blanket. Her face was pale, her eyes red and swollen. "I heard nothing," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Nothing at all. My room is right down the hall." Detective Hayes crouched beside her, his expression gentle but focused. "When did you last see Emily?" "Last night," she said. "Around 10. She said goodnight." "Was anyone bothering her lately?" "Anyone strange?" She shook her head slowly. "She barely even dated. She just studied and watched movies." "What kind of movies?" Hayes asked, his curiosity piqued. She paused for a moment, then said something that made Hayes glance back at the quiet house. "Horror movies," she said softly. She loved scary movies. The old ones. The ones with the phone calls. That detail stuck with him. It didn't seem important, not really. But it was strange. It felt like a piece of a puzzle you don't understand yet, but you know you need to hold on to it. By mid-morning, the search had expanded. Officers combed through the yard, the dense woods behind the house, and along the quiet road. They found nothing. No footprints. No tire tracks. Not even a dropped phone. It was as if Emily Harper had simply dissolved into thin air. Except for one thing. One detail that defied all logic. Her phone. It was still on her desk, fully charged, locked, and untouched. And as every detective, every parent knows, kids never leave their phones behind. Never. The silence in that room was louder than any scream, and the phone on the desk was the most terrifying clue of all. The sound in the dark, the scream, lasted 3 seconds. Not long, not loud, but sharp enough to slice through the night like broken glass. Then, silence. No dogs barking. No doors opening. No second cry. Just the quiet of a small town pretending nothing happened. And by sunrise, a police car was parked in front of 214 Maple Street. Tape across the door. Neighbors whispering. And inside the house, a teenage girl's bedroom stood frozen in time. Bed neatly made. Phone on the desk. Shoes by the door. Window slightly open. But the girl? Gone. Detective Aaron Hayes stood in the hallway, staring at the empty room. He didn't speak. Didn't move. He just listened. Because sometimes a house talks. Floorboards creak. Pipes hum. Air moves through vents. But this house felt wrong. Too still. Like it was holding its breath. On the desk sat a small digital clock. 6:14 a.m. Still glowing green. Still blinking. Like someone had unplugged it during the night. Like time itself had stopped. Hayes turned slowly to the officer beside him. "Where's the body?" The officer swallowed. "There isn't one. 2 hours earlier. Before the sun. Before the tape. Before the flashing lights. A neighbor, named Mrs. Carter, had called 911. Her voice shaking. "I heard a scream," she said. "A girl. It came from next door." "Did you see anything?" the operator asked. "No. Just the scream. Then nothing." "How long ago?" "Maybe 10 minutes." "Is anyone outside now?" "No." It's like everyone disappeared. Now the street was crowded. Police cars. Yellow tape. Reporters already gathering like birds. Parents clutching coffee mugs, whispering the same word over and over. What happened? The missing girl's name was Emily Harper. 16. Honor student. Track team. No trouble. No fights. No history of running away. The kind of kid teachers described as quiet but kind. The kind of kid who didn't just vanish. Inside her room, everything looked normal. No broken glass. No signs of struggle. No overturned furniture. Her backpack was packed for school. Homework half finished. A math problem still written in pencil. As if she planned to wake up and finish it. Hayes knelt beside the bed. Ran his hand across the blanket. Cold. Smooth. Untouched. "Someone took her clean," he muttered. Tech opened it using her fingerprint from a school ID. Last texts. Normal. Group chat about homework. A meme. A laughing emoji. Then one last notification. Unknown number. Sent at 12:07 a.m. No name. No picture. Just 3 words. "Are you awake?" She never replied. Hayes stared at the message. His stomach tightened. Because he'd seen this before. Years ago. A different case. A different town. Late-night message. Unknown number. Girl disappears. No forced entry. No witnesses. Like someone studying them. Waiting. Watching. "Trace the number," he said. The tech shook his head. "Prepaid. Burned phone. Already dead." Of course it was. By noon, the story hit the news. Teen missing overnight. Then, scream heard before disappearance. Then, the scream murder? Hayes hated that phrase. Too dramatic. Too fast. They didn't even know if it was a murder. But once the media smells fear, they run with it. Kids at school started talking. Some said they heard strange noises lately. Some said a white van had been parked nearby last week. Others swore they saw someone walking late at night. But every story changed. Every memory fuzzy. Fear does that. It rewrites things. Makes shadows look like monsters. That afternoon, Hayes visited the school. He walked the halls quietly. Listening. Watching. Lockers slamming. Shoes squeaking. Teachers whispering. Emily's best friend, Lila, sat alone in the library. Eyes swollen from crying. She wouldn't run away, Lila said. She told me everything. Did she mention anyone new? Hayes asked. A guy maybe? Online. Something like that. Lila hesitated, then nodded slowly. There was someone. Hayes leaned forward. Who? She got a message last week. She showed me. Said it was weird. What did it say? Lila swallowed. Just, I can hear you scream. The room felt colder. What did she think it meant? She laughed. Said it was probably spam. Or someone joking. Hayes didn't laugh. Because someone doesn't joke like that. Not twice. That evening, they pulled security cameras from nearby houses. Grainy footage. Streetlights. Empty sidewalks. Then, at 12:10 a.m., a shape, moving fast, near Emily's house. Tall. Put up. Face hidden. Walking, not running. Calm. Too calm. Stopping right under her window. Then disappearing into the shadows. 10 minutes later, gone. No car. No partner. Just gone. Like smoke. Enhance it, Hayes said. They tried. But the image stayed blurry. Just a silhouette. Just enough to know someone was there. Not enough to know who. That night, Hayes couldn't sleep. He kept hearing Mrs. Carter's words. That scream. 3 seconds. Then silence. What kind of person causes a scream like that and leaves nothing behind? No mess. No noise. No trace. Just absence. At 2:17 a.m., his phone rang. Dispatch. Detective. You need to come back. His heart sank. Why? We found something. What? A pause. Static on the line. Then the words, in the woods. About half a mile from her house. We found her backpack. Hayes grabbed his coat. What's inside? Another pause. Longer this time. Like the officer didn't want to say it. Finally, there's something written on it. What do you mean written? Marker. Black ink. Hayes started the engine. Written what? The officer's voice dropped to a whisper. It says, she screamed. And then the line went dead. The backpack hung from a broken tree branch like it had been placed there on purpose. Not dropped. Not thrown. Placed. Like a message. The wind moved it slowly back and forth. Creak. 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 Every swing made the zipper clink against the metal pole. Detective Hayes stopped walking. For a second, no one spoke. Flashlights cut through the dark woods. Long beams sliding over wet leaves and twisted branches. The air smelled like dirt and cold rain. And fear. A young officer whispered, that's it. The blue fabric was easy to recognize. Emily's school bag. Her name stitched on the side in white thread. The same bag her mother described earlier that morning. The one she carried every day. The one that should still be in her bedroom. But now it was here. Half a mile away. Deep in the woods. At 2 a.m, Hayes stepped forward slowly. Like the bag might explode. Like the forest itself was watching him. Don't touch it yet, he said. Crime scene tape went up fast. Cameras clicked. Forensics pulled on gloves. The bag swayed again. Creak. Creak. Like it was breathing. The writing was exactly where dispatch said. Black marker. Messy. Thick strokes. 3 words. She screamed. The letters looked rushed. Pressed hard. The ink bleeding through the fabric. Hayes stared at it. Not angry. Not panicked. Just cold. Because this wasn't random. This wasn't panic. This was someone talking to them. Someone playing a game. Take it down carefully, he said. The officer lifted it gently. Unzipped it. Everyone leaned in. Waiting. Inside, Emily's math notebook. Her wallet. Lip balm. House keys. All normal. All things she would never leave behind. Then, at the bottom, a phone. Not hers. Old. Cheap. Prepaid. Black. The kind you buy with cash and throw away. Hayes felt his jaw tighten. Bag it. Back at the station, the woods stayed in his head. That quiet. That stillness. He hated woods. Too many hiding places. Too many secrets. Forensics worked fast. The burner phone had only one saved number. No name, just digits. And only one outgoing call. Made at 12:05 a.m. 5 minutes before the scream. 5 minutes before Emily disappeared. Trace it, Hayes said. The tech typed fast, then frowned. Registered to nothing. But the signal pinged a tower. Where? The tech zoomed the map. A small blinking circle. Hayes leaned closer. His stomach dropped. Because the ping wasn't from the woods. It wasn't from a highway. It wasn't from some random location. It was from inside the neighborhood. Very close. Too close. The tower showed the call came from Maple Street, right near Emily's house. The city lights of Havenwood used to feel like a warm blanket. But tonight, they felt like 1,000 prying eyes, all searching for one person, Lily Carter. She was 17, a straight-A student, a volunteer at the local animal shelter, and for the last 48 hours, she was just gone. I'm Detective Miles Corbin, and her case file was sitting on my desk, getting heavier by the minute. Lily vanished on a Tuesday evening. She'd left the library around 8 p.m., a route she took 3 times a week. Her friend said she was her usual cheerful self, talking about college applications and the upcoming prom. Her parents, a wreck of raw nerves and sleepless nights, insisted she would never run away. Lily was a homebody, a creature of habit. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. My first stop was the library. The security camera footage was grainy, but it showed Lily leaving, book bag slung over her shoulder, a small smile on her face as she texted on her phone. Then, she walked out of frame and into the city's evening shadows. We tracked her phone's last ping. It came from the old pier down by the river, a place teenagers went to hang out, but a place Lily's friends swore she avoided. It was too sketchy, they said. So what was she doing there? I walked the length of the pier, the old wood groaning under my feet. The river was a dark, silent witness. We found nothing. No book bag, no phone, no sign of a struggle. It was as if she had dissolved into the misty air. I went back to her room, a lavender-hued sanctuary filled with novels and posters of far-off places. It felt frozen in time, waiting for her to return. Her laptop was our first real break. Her search history was mundane: college essays, cat videos, an online bookstore. But then, tucked away in a deleted items folder, was an email exchange. It wasn't with a friend or a college. It was with an account named Stargazer7. The messages were cryptic, talking about a secret meeting and a special gift. The last message from Stargazer7, sent the day Lily disappeared, read, "Tonight's the night. The old pier. Don't be late. Your new life awaits." A new life. The words sent a chill down my spine. This wasn't a random abduction. Lily had gone to meet someone. Someone she thought she could trust. Finch was a recruitment officer for an exclusive, all-expenses-paid, young innovators program overseas. He scouted brilliant kids from small towns, offering them the world. He'd been messaging Lily for weeks, convincing her that her parents wouldn't understand her ambition, that she had to keep it a secret to avoid family drama. He preyed on her dreams, making her think leaving without a word was a bold, adult move. The special gift was a plane ticket. When we confronted Finch, he was all corporate charm and feigned ignorance. He claimed he was just offering an opportunity. But when we showed him the distraught faces of Lily's parents on the news, something in his polished exterior cracked. He admitted he'd told her to leave her phone behind, to start fresh. He never considered the panic it would cause. He saw these kids as assets, not people. We found Lily at the airport, just an hour before her flight was scheduled to depart. She was sitting alone, looking small and scared in the massive terminal. When she saw me and her parents rushing towards her, the relief that washed over her face was palpable. The new life she'd been promised suddenly looked a lot like a lonely, frightening trap. Back in Havenwood, the city lights felt warm again. Lily's case closed, but it left a mark. It was a reminder that the biggest dangers don't always lurk in dark alleys. Sometimes, they hide behind a bright screen and a tempting promise. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is just come home. "Zoom on his hand," Hayes said. The image blurred, but something caught the light. Metal, a small glint, like a ring, or a watch, or keys, the same shape they found inside the backpack. His head tilted. Why take her keys, then put them back? Why return the bag at all? Unless he wasn't hiding. He was showing off. At midnight, Hayes sat alone at his desk. Lights off. Just the glow of the computer. Case file stacked high. Photos of Emily smiling. Track medals. Yearbook pictures. So normal. So alive. He whispered to himself. What did you see, Emily? Because screams don't come from nowhere. Something scared her. Something close. Something she recognized. Then the lab called. Detective, you need to hear this. What now? We got audio off the burner phone. Hayes sat up straight. What audio? There's a voicemail saved. 30 seconds long. His heart thumped hard. Play it. Static filled the speaker. Wind. Leaves crunching. Breathing. Slow. Close. Then a voice. Low. Calm. Too calm. A whisper. You shouldn't scream. Hayes froze. Then, a sudden sharp sound. Like a struggle. Then, that same scream Mrs. Carter described. Short. Terrified. Cut off fast. Then silence. The recording ended. Nobody in the room spoke. Because now it was real. Not just missing. Not just mystery. Emily didn't just disappear. Someone recorded her fear. On purpose. Hayes grabbed his jacket. Where are you going? The tech asked. To the woods. Now? It's almost 1 a.m. He looked back at the screen. At the empty waveform. At the silence after the scream. He went back there once, Hayes said quietly. He might go back again. They drove out. Flashlights ready. Cold air biting. The forest darker than before. Like the trees had moved closer. Like the night had thickened. They reached the spot where the backpack was found. Nothing. Just dirt. Leaves. Quiet. Too quiet. Then, an officer called out. Detective, over here. Hayes walked over. Heart pounding. The officer pointed at the ground. Fresh footprints. Deep. Recent. Not from yesterday. Not from search teams. These were new. And they were heading deeper into the woods. Like someone had just been here. Watching. Waiting. Maybe even listening. Hayes followed the prints with his light. Step by step. Breath slow. Gun ready. The trail led to something small. Half buried in the dirt. A phone. Another one. Different model. Still on. Still glowing. Like it had just been dropped. Hayes picked it up carefully. The screen was unlocked. One photo open. Taken seconds ago. His blood ran cold. Because the photo wasn't of Emily. It wasn't of the woods. It wasn't random. It was them. A picture of the officers. Standing at the backpack site. Taken from the trees. From very close. Someone had just photographed them. Which meant they weren't alone. The photo was still warm. Detective Hayes could feel it through the phone. Not hot. Just warm enough to mean one thing. It had been taken seconds ago. Not yesterday. Not an hour earlier. Seconds. The screen showed them clearly. 5 officers standing near the backpack site. Flashlights glowing like small moons in the dark. The angle was low. Hidden. Like someone crouched behind the trees. Watching. Waiting. Breathing quietly. Hayes slowly lifted his head and scanned the woods. Black trunks. Twisted branches. Nothing moving. But the forest didn't feel empty anymore. It felt crowded. Like eyes were everywhere. Lights off, he whispered. Every beam clicked out. Darkness swallowed them whole. Now they listened. Wind. Leaves. Their own breathing. Then, a faint crunch. Far left. Like a shoe pressing on dry twigs. Hayes turned fast. Police. Stop. Silence. Then running. Fast. Heavy. Branches snapping. Go. Hayes shouted. They chased. Boots pounding. Branches slapping their faces. Flashlights bouncing wildly. The forest turned into a maze. But whoever it was knew the terrain. He moved smoothly. Like he'd practiced. Like this was home. Then suddenly, nothing. No sound. No footsteps. Just wind again. Gone. Like a ghost. But Hayes didn't believe in ghosts. Only people. And people make mistakes. Back at the phone, forensics worked fast. Fingerprints. Partial. Smudged. But one clear print on the side button. Got something, the text said. Hayes leaned in. Run it. The system searched. Seconds felt like hours. Then, a soft beep. Match found. The name popped up on the screen. Hayes read it twice. Because it didn't make sense. It wasn't some drifter. Not a stranger. Not a registered offender. It was someone normal. Someone invisible. Daniel Mercer. Age, 19. Address, Maple Street. 3 houses down from Emily. Hayes' chest tightened. So he really was close, the young officer muttered. Too close. Close enough to wave hello. Close enough to borrow sugar. Close enough to watch her window every night. They pulled his file. High school graduate. Quiet. Good grades. Part-time grocery store job. No arrests. No complaints. Nothing violent. Nothing suspicious. Just quiet. The kind of kid teachers forget. The kind neighbors barely notice. The kind who blends into the background. Hayes hated quiet. Quiet hides things. They drove to Maple Street at 4 a.m. lights off. Engines low. The town asleep. Daniel's house looked normal. Small porch. Bike leaning against the wall. Bedroom light on upstairs. Still on. Hayes stared at it. Why would he still be awake? The officer whispered. Because some people don't sleep after what they do, Hayes said. The rain hammered against my windshield, each drop a tiny fist pounding on the glass, blurring the already dim streetlights of the city. Another Tuesday, another missing persons case. This time, it was a 16-year-old girl named Lily. Bright, popular, vanished without a trace after school. Her parents were frantic, clinging to hope like a life raft in a storm. My gut told me this wasn't a runaway case. The file sat on the passenger seat, Lily's smiling school photo looking up at me. It was a good photo, full of life. Too much life to just disappear. My first real lead came from a quiet classmate who mentioned a guy named Daniel. He was a bit of a loner, always sketching in a notebook, always watching. The classmate said Daniel seemed fixated on Lily. Not in a cute, high school crush way. More in a way that made the hairs on your arms stand up. So I paid Daniel a visit. His apartment was small, meticulously clean, except for one room. The door was locked. He claimed it was a darkroom for his photography hobby. I didn't need a warrant to know I had to see inside. A little bit of pressure, a reminder of the consequences of obstructing an investigation, and he handed over the key. The smell hit me first. Faint perfume, Lily's perfume. The walls were a shrine. Hundreds of photos of her, candid shots taken from a distance. Walking to school, laughing with friends, sitting alone in the park. There were audio recorders too, tiny devices scattered around. I pressed play on one. It was a conversation between Lily and her best friend, muffled but clear enough. He had bugged her favorite cafe. This wasn't a crush. This was a chilling, calculated obsession. My blood ran cold. I turned to Daniel, his face a mask of calm. Where is she, Daniel? He just smiled, a thin, unnerving smile. She wanted to get away from it all, he said. I just helped her find a quiet place. His composure was terrifying. He wasn't panicking. He was proud. He started talking about how he understood her better than anyone, how the world didn't deserve her. He was building a narrative where he was the hero, the savior. Every word he spoke was a piece of a puzzle I was desperately trying to solve against the clock. He spoke of a special place, a sanctuary he had prepared for her, somewhere she could be truly appreciated. He mentioned an old, abandoned cannery by the docks, a place he used to explore as a kid. It's our fortress, he whispered. That was it. I left him with my partner and raced to the waterfront, the sirens screaming through the night. The cannery was a skeleton of rust and decay, groaning in the wind. I kicked open a heavy steel door and descended into the damp, dark basement. The air was thick and heavy. And then I saw her. She was in a small, sealed room, a glass enclosure almost, with an oxygen tank nearby, its gauge hovering dangerously close to empty. She was unconscious, pale. I smashed the lock, pulled her out, and checked for a pulse. It was faint, thready, but it was there. We were running out of time, but for now, she was alive. The race against Daniel's twisted fantasy wasn't over yet. Not by a long shot.